Okay. How we doing, everybody? They're voting now. You should be able to see it in the corner there. Really need this to pass. Maybe I'll put it up here like this. Hold on. Can you guys see that? Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Would appreciate super chats, would appreciate gifts, would appreciate hitting the thumbs up button, all those things to help push the live. Yes, we are watching this unfold. Let me add something here. Why the hell is that upside down? Weird. Hold on, everybody. Just give me a second. Trying to get something down here so people can see what we're watching here. This is obviously a very big deal for the country. They are voting to release the Epstein files. This is the Epstein File Transparency Act. Did you hear the speaker's bullshit speech? No, I did not hear it, Mary. Fill me in. What was it? Guys, hit the thumbs up button if you're excited to finally get a step in the right direction of getting these released. Let me address some comments here. Party People Inc. says the fact that he flip-flopped doesn't sit right with me. It's an obvious move like he had to, but it's not a good look at all. So Party People, he had to. You're right. He couldn't stop the vote. Why he's not as concerned is a couple reasons. Number one, it passing the House doesn't mean it automatically gets released, right? It's got to go to the Senate, and the president still has to sign it. Of course, they can override a veto, but that's unlikely. He launched that investigation by the Department of Justice to make sure that those files, regardless, remain redacted. He can always use the ongoing investigation to force them to seal the files. That ongoing investigation can force those files to be resealed even before they reach the president's desk. So he's done a number of things to conceal this and keep it from the American public, and it should piss off the American people. Yeah, Brad, I don't know. I see Trump supporters doing that for sure. 100%. I see that. Can you guys see it good? According to everything we know, Trump is going to sign it. But again, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter regardless, because the biggest element to this that could prevent this from reaching the American people is the ongoing investigation that he ordered the Department of Justice to look into perceived political opponents as it pertains to their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. That could cause issues legally. Right. Yeah, it's 100% what's happening. I have no delusions about getting this information from the files. What this does, though, is it gives him, it basically exposes him more, because here's what happens. This is the way I want you to look at it. The reason I think it's still important is because if it passes the House and if it passes the Senate and then the president signs it and the pages involving him are gone, the American people should be able to figure out at that point it's because he's 100. It's what we all have been alleging, right? There can't be the proof is there. If you sign it, they release it, and those pages are redacted because of that investigation. We're simply connecting those dots before it happens. But hopefully the American people will be able to connect those dots if it happens. Alicia, thank you for the $10 super chat, Alicia. Appreciate you so much. Let me address this. Jamie De La Rosa says, my understanding is Trump can directly release the files without having to go through drama. I agree. Yes, he can. He absolutely can. There's no ongoing investigation. Well, there is an ongoing investigation now, but that's the most recently launched investigation. Z-Core Alpha, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Dude says, long term, who do you have running for Democrats in 2028 when Trump is long gone? We need to focus on the future. I'm more focused on the midterms right now than I am a federal election, but who I would say is I think there's a number of Democrats. One good thing I've always said for Democrats that you can hang on to, something positive, is we have an enormously strong bullpen. Whether that's J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom, you're going to have people like AOC in the mix there with the support of Bernie Sanders. I think whether that's top of the ticket or not, I think that's going to be a name that you're going to hear. I think people shouldn't dismiss the idea that Kamala Harris is going to be in the mix as well, because she's going to have the "I told you so" narrative without having to say "I told you so." There's so many. Andy Bashir. There's going to be a lot of names you're going to hear like that. Pete Buttigieg, I think, is going to be a name that you're going to start hearing a lot about as it gets closer. Again, it could be someone that we don't even know. Wes Moore is a name. There's a lot of different names I hear that I think are totally that it's totally possible they're the guy. But again, it's just too early to say for sure. But the point is, there's a lot of them. I think Democrats need to be prepared to support the Democratic nominee. That would be my message to Democrats, to be prepared to support the Democratic nominee. Oh God, I hate people that say this dumb shit about Kamala Harris. It's so dumb. Adam, did you see Trump told ABC News he said that? Why does this do this, dude? It's honestly fucking annoying as shit. Why is there ads on this? Leave it the fuck alone. No one wants McAfee antivirus. Who the hell would put that on their computer in 2025? I don't know, because I can't see it. I can see if you guys can, but I can't. Can't skip it on OBS, unfortunately. Wow. Well, that doesn't surprise me. He already told the FCC to threaten during that Jimmy Kimmel thing, so he has no problem doing that. Brendan Carr is appointed. The chair of the FCC is appointed by Trump, so certainly going to listen to him. Guys, listen. This is about the walls closing in, and the walls are closing in, let me tell you. There is little he can do to prevent this pressure from ultimately resulting in the American people making a determination. Whether or not you're going to get direct evidence he participated, I don't know. But I know unless you are one of these MAGA people who has unwavering loyalty, you're going to be able to very obviously conclude that Donald Trump was, at the very least, was aware this was occurring and did nothing about it. At the very least. I can't stand John Fetterman. Fetterman is awful. Hold on, let me keep track of this here. Hold on, everybody. So let's see here. Case files. I have this set up for debating. I don't have this set up for doing this time live. So hold on. Just give me a second. Jamie Raskin asked that the votes be recorded. Who voted no? Does anyone know who voted no? Who was that? Don't worry, I'm going to get the name. Well, it doesn't matter anyway because it's publicly recorded. I highly doubt this to be the case. At least in the House. The Senate is going to be a different story. Guys, just so you're aware, this is the House. This is not the Senate. Okay? This is the House. Once it passes the House, then it goes to the Senate. If it passes the Senate, then it goes to the president's desk. Yes, Fetterman is a senator. Guys, it's probably just the way that they're doing it on here. It's probably an accident, I would imagine. John Doe. Adam Cray probably has massive amounts of CP. Bro, you're a fucking creep. You're thinking about child abuse while we're talking about this. Like, only a Republican would be thinking about that shit. Such a weirdo. Stop telling on yourself. I don't know who voted no at this point. I would imagine it's a mistake if I had to take a guess. I can't imagine that this is the case. Ronnie Jackson, the first no was a mistake. Where'd you get that from? So it was a mistake. Yeah, it appears that's the case here. Let's see. Andy, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, Andy. It has to be. It has to be a mistake. Where are you getting that update from? Like, for some reason, they just like don't update until it's over for some reason on these. I can't see that through there. Let me pull it up on here. Hold on a second. I'm just going to do it this way. It's easier. MSNBC said Higgins voted no. What the Hey, hold on. Trump is...
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1.
Who is...
2/3 being in the affirmative.
What?
The rules are suspended. The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Let's go. But who is it? Who was it? Wait a second. What is going to be the justification for being the one nay? What is going to be the justification? What the fuck? I gotta look up what Higgins says. This is insane.
Pursuant to Clause 8, Rule 20, the unfinished business is the vote on ordering the previous question on House Resolution 879, on which the yeas and nays are ordered. The clerk will report the title of the resolution.
House Calendar number 47, House Resolution 879.
Oh my.
Resolution providing for consideration of the joint resolution, Senate Joint Resolution 80, providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska, Integrated Activity Plan Record of Decision, providing for consideration of the joint resolution, House Joint Resolution 130, providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5 United States Code of the rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management relating to
Holy
Buffalo
shit.
Field
Bro.
Office Record of Decision and Approved
Clay
Resource
Higgins
Management
dying
Plan
on
Amendment,
the Protect
providing
the
for consideration
Pedos
of the Joint
Hill.
Resolution, House
Clay
Joint Resolution
Higgins.
131, providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title
It means
5
it
United
passes
States
the House
Code
and then it has to
of
go to
the
the
rules
Senate.
submitted by the
Laura,
Bureau
thank
of
you for
Land
the
Management
$9.99
relating to
super chat, Laura.
Coastal Plain Oil and Gas Leasing
Let's
Program
go.
Record of Decision, providing for consideration of the concurrent resolution, House Concurrent Resolution 58, denouncing the horrors of socialism, providing for consideration of the bill, H.R. 1949, to repeal.
All right, folks. So, a couple things. This passes. Here's the thing. So the guy said to get the truth, dude. I'm the one I've been explaining this entire time the process behind why he launched the investigation, why they can halt it and redact a lot of the information even if it passes the Senate. You don't know what you're talking about. If this is your first time watching me, just shut up. All right, like that's best bet. That's your best bet, guy. Shut your mouth. Laura, thank you for the $9.99 super chat, Laura. Appreciate you, Laura. Why this is a step? Not because you're going to get 100% of the information, but because if it passes the Senate and if it goes in front of the president's desk, the American people will know when they get the files and his name is redacted that he was guilty. Whether you see it directly or not, when all those pages are removed that would have otherwise included Trump, you're going to know he's guilty. And that was the entire purpose of launching the investigation into political opponents and their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, because that reseals that information because there's an ongoing investigation. So hopefully it just lays out for the American people that it's more of an attempt to cover it up. You're not going to get a 100% transparent document, right, that shows Donald Trump is guilty. I highly doubt it. You never know, but I highly doubt it. I highly, highly, highly doubt it. Maybe he also knows it's not going to pass the Senate for some reason. I don't know. Maybe he has some other plan, but I think it likely has to do with that most recent investigation. Why was Donald Trump trying to tell Republicans not to sign on to the discharge petition? Why did Donald Trump try and do that? I mean, this has been ongoing for how long? The conspiracy to try and keep this information from the American people, refusing to talk to the survivors. They offered to talk under oath to the FBI, talking to Ghislaine Maxwell instead and giving her a reward for saying Donald Trump's not involved criminally. We accused that meeting of being quid pro quo. Republicans denied it. I mean, there's countless information. Kash Patel claiming that there is no evidence that any young girls were trafficked to anyone but Epstein himself, when he claimed for years that there was a black Rolodex in the possession of the current director of the FBI. He gets in office and no one's heard from him and Bongino related to this particular issue. The cover-up has been extensive. Two elements to this conversation: the cover-up and to what extent was Donald Trump criminally involved with Epstein. Those are two entirely different conversations. I know there's information that's in there in those files that's damning. I know there's information that's damning out there about Trump and his relationship with Epstein. To what extent? I have no idea. No, maybe you just don't watch me all the time. You would know if you did that I've been pretty accurate in those predictions. So, Clay Higgins was the only no. Clay Higgins was the only nay. Clay Higgins is going to die on the hill of protecting the pedophiles. I really don't give a fuck what he says. I absolutely know. I abso-freaking-lutely know. Should I open up the phone lines? Republicans are super triggered already, guys. We got some super triggered Republicans in here for some reason. I'm not sure why you guys don't want the truth just as much as me, right? Isn't the truth the point of this? Josephus, thank you so much for the floating heart for 10 joules. Appreciate you, Josephus. Thank you, Josephus. Appreciate it. I mean, Jesus, like, I want the truth. Guy, I've laid out the conspiracy a million different times. Like, You guys keep asking, what's my proof? I've laid it out 6,000 times between yesterday, the day before yesterday, and this morning on TikTok. People watched me. If you didn't, then that's your fault. You can certainly call in, though. You are delusional in your assertion. No, I'm not. It's common sense. Do you know what Occam's razor is? If Clinton is in there, send him to jail too. I don't give a shit who's in there. I don't care what. Listen, do you think this is about party politics? This is not about party politics. I don't care who's in there. Put them all in fucking prison. At least get them the hell out of our government. Yeah, we got some, they're really pissed off cult members. But you know what? There's no stopping this train because, and you know what a lot of Republicans are realizing too? Like I'm talking about elected Republicans, not little troll MAGA Muppets. Elected Republicans are realizing that this is not going away. Let me just check really quick before I take calls, and let's see if Higgins released a statement. Higgins was the only no vote. So let me do this really quick. Let's first see if Higgins has commented on this. Let's start there. Yeah, guys, can we get some lock him ups in the chat, please? Can we get some lock him ups in the chat, please? That would be good. Today is a bad day to be Clay Higgins. Today is a bad day to be Clay Higgins. You know what else is a bad day to be Clay Higgins? January 6th. January 6th. That's another bad day to be Clay Higgins. Why the no vote? Because Clay Higgins is a dirtball. That's why. He's a bad guy. Clay Higgins is the conspiracy guy, too, who makes those claims about the FBI at January 6th with no evidence to substantiate such claims. Consider your career in politics over. He's one of the worst Republican congressmen. One of the worst. Claims that Antifa, dressed as Trump supporters, incited the violence to try and shift blame away from Trump supporters when we all know that's not true. That's just complete bullshit. But the conspiracy Muppet, you know, that's a conspiracy. Now you guys can claim his no vote is a conspiracy to cover up this. And he'll say, stop the conspiracies, probably. Oh, man, this is so bad. I don't see anything. So, wait, this is Clay Higgins last night? Clay Higgins posted a video last night. Let's see if this is cryptic. Hold on. Clay Higgins posted a video on Twitter late last night. Let's take a listen to that video.
Week. Monday night in D.C. A lot going on. It's going to be a very busy week. Just keep in mind, America, that, you know, we have to try to do the right thing, even if it's like difficult. We have to try to do the right thing at all times. So that's what I shall continue to do. Oh.
What the hell does that mean? Well, that makes total sense now. Hold on. This is weird. We got to listen to this one more time. This is Higgins last night in D.C. The eve of this vote, when he was the sole no vote. Let's listen one more time to this cryptic video Clay Higgins posted last night.
Monday night in D.C. A lot going on. It's going to be a very busy week. Just keep in mind, America, that, you know, we have to try to do the right thing, even if it's like difficult. We have to try to do the right thing at all times. So that's what I shall continue to do. Oh.
Folks, somebody tell me what the fuck that means. Can someone give me a logical explanation? What is that guy talking about? That is bizarre, to say the very least. Hold on, everybody. 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I gotta adjust this camera. Sorry about that. That is weird, dude. Does anyone want to explain what the fuck? Relic is saying a lot of homophobes on the left. Relic, we're talking about children. We're talking about children, Relic. You think people speaking out about PDF files are homophobic? That's creepy. That is creepy, dude. I'm sorry. That's just weird. That's just creepy, bro. Like, straight up, man. Like, we need some, like, hard drives checked in here. We need some legitimate hard drives checked in here, man. All right, let's take some calls. Let's see people's thoughts on this vote, okay? Let's go from there. We'll start there. Let's take some calls. Let's get the opinion of some people here, and then we'll move forward. Clay Higgins, the only person to vote no. I played a cryptic voice message. Cryptic video he posted last night on Twitter. Clay Higgins, the only no vote. The Epstein Transparency Act passes the House, now goes to the Senate, and hopefully goes to Trump's desk. Trump says he will sign it. I don't know if we'll get the truth from it regardless, but regardless, hopefully the American people will be able to connect the dots that this has been an organized conspiracy to cover this up by the Trump administration, and he should be impeached for it. Pikachu, thank you so much. Pikachu Baka, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you so much, Pikachu Baka. Emails said nothing. Not true. The emails are important for a number of reasons, primarily because they contradict the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Call from QSC Facilities.
Stop calling me from your job. No one, I'm not picking up from stop calling me from your work. If Trump was innocent, he wouldn't have ran on releasing the files and pushing his hardest to drop it. If Trump was, he would have ran on this and the pushing his hardest to drop it. Yeah, I agree. Trump's not innocent. And a lot of other people aren't innocent either. There's a lot of people that are guilty here. A lot. There's a lot of people guilty, and there's a lot of people who are going to be exposed. And it's good. I'm happy about it. It's a good thing. What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Hurtado Music and Guitar Lessons.
Shut up. We got a lot of... Listen, I got, guys, the PDF files. The PDF files are in here defending the movement. It's sick, man. It's sick. It really is. Are all celebs who party with Diddy guilty? That's just stupid. Are you seriously saying that right now? Are people who partied with Diddy guilty? If they were in those private parties, probably. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you now defending Hollyweird? Are you now defending Hollyweird? That's sick, bro. That's sick.
Hello?
Yes, you called. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
So a couple things. I think there's a confusion about a Trump supporter and a Trump voter.
Mm-hmm.
So we realized that Trump ran in 2016. We knew who he was, what he stood on, what he was about. He pretty much showed all of his colors. So the question would be then, are the American electorate more informed now or back then? So they're more informed now, but they still voted for him. So what does that tell you about the other side?
Oh, 100%.
He is immensely flawed. And I know that brings you no solace. But I'm a Trump voter, and he is immensely flawed. Immensely. But if the irony is, if the election were held today, as much as these people are out there trying to take him down, which they've been trying to do since 2015, if the election were held today, because of how far left the Democrat Party have gone, Trump would win again.
You're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your mind.
Listen,
are you telling me that Trump supporters knew that to the extent that they do today about this stuff with Epstein? They don't. They knew.
What is it? Give me some solid.
Sure.
No.
Sure. Let me answer.
Take it down. Tell me what the Epstein files have shown us about Trump.
We don't have
in
the
real
Epstein
terms,
file.
in concrete terms.
We don't have them.
So what are we talking about then?
We're talking about two different elements of this conversation. One is the conspiracy to cover it up. Now, let me start there.
Okay.
Because we can very obviously...
I need concrete evidence of what Trump has done. If not, we're going back to the Russia hoax.
You are going to have an unreasonable burden of proof because you have unwavering loyalty to the president.
Yada, yada. I just said the man's immensely flawed. So what are we talking about?
Well, every human being has flaws.
Conspiracy?
No, I'm going to explain to you. So can you tell me, do you know who
I'm
Todd
waiting.
Bland...
I'm waiting to hear something concrete.
Sure. And again, what you're doing, right, is you're saying,
No, you're still not giving me evidence. You have the burden of proof.
Stop talking.
Don't tell me what I am or who I'm not. Just give me concrete evidence, not conspiracy.
Shut up. Shut your mouth and let me finish. You got to shut up. Have you ever done that in your life?
Still waiting.
Holy fuck. So what you're doing is you're trying to say, hey, if I don't have concrete proof he directly engaged in physical abuse of these people, then I'm not going to stop supporting him. So what we start with is the conspiracy to cover it up, okay? That's what we start with, okay? So, number one, do you know who Todd Blanche is?
I don't, but it's cover-up's been on both sides, right and left.
Hold on. I just asked you what Todd.
You're the
I
problem
just
with
asked
America.
you.
Trump will win again.
You're a stupid fuck. All right. Let everyone know you're not smart enough to have this conversation. Sorry. Have a good day. Some people are just not bright enough to have the conversation. You being one of them. Have a good day. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Bro can't shut up. He's crashing out because, of course, if I have a chance to explain it to him, then he gets backed into a corner. Charsity, thank you for the $5 super chat. Good Lord, what's up with the steamrolling? They steamroll when they're scared. They steamroll when they're afraid. And they're afraid that I'm going to dunk on them. So that's why they immediately start steamrolling. Because if I talk, they lose. Right? It's that simple. It's that simple. Bart, stop defending PDFs in the chat. I have to delete your comments because you're defending PDFs. I can't do that when you defend PDFs. I'm sorry. So I'll explain this for Trump supporters, and then you can call in if you disagree. All right? Here's what I'll do. The conspiracy. Listen, turn your listening ears on. Donald Trump told everyone to stop talking about Epstein. He said, Epstein's dead. We shouldn't be speaking about him anymore. He's deceased. It's a Democrat hoax. We then find out he was saying that and telling people in the administration not to talk about Epstein with the media anymore because Pam Bondi informed Donald Trump he was in the files in May. So they go on for a little bit telling people, hey, stop talking about it. We're not talking. Trump starts biting back at the press that try and ask questions about it. So the Oversight Committee says, we're going to subpoena the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell. When they hear that the Oversight Committee is going to subpoena her testimony, because remember, Trump has a Ghislaine Maxwell problem. He doesn't have an Epstein problem. Epstein's dead. They send Todd Blanche. Who's Todd Blanche? Todd Blanche is Donald Trump's former personal attorney. He was his personal attorney in his criminal cases, the hush money case. This is important. His personal relationship to Trump is very important. He sent the Deputy Attorney General of the Department of Justice to go sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell to secure a narrative prior to that testimony in front of the Oversight Committee. What happened during that meeting? She only gave us, the only information that we didn't know was Trump. She's never witnessed Trump in a private setting, only public and social settings, and she never witnessed him behave inappropriately. We now have emails that were subpoenaed from the Epstein estate by the Oversight Committee, who have congressional subpoena power. They use that power to subpoena these emails from 2011, before he's even in elected politics. In a private conversation between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, that disproved the testimony she gave in a deposition to Todd Blanche. She was rewarded for that meeting by being moved to a low-security prison in Camp Bryan, Texas, from a prison in Florida. The emails state that Donald Trump was in a private setting. He was in Epstein's home. Not only was he in his home, he was in the presence of a victim. In those emails, we find out that Trump knew about the girls. Knew about the girls. Well, that could mean a lot of things, right? But it's clear what it means as it pertains to Jeffrey Epstein. We heard from Donald Trump that Donald Trump gave Jeffrey Epstein a warning not to come back to Mar-a-Lago or to stop. He gave Jeffrey Epstein a warning to stop trafficking girls at Mar-a-Lago. Who gives someone a warning? You don't give them a warning. You ban them immediately. If you think someone is engaging in inappropriate behavior at your establishment, you ban them immediately. According to Trump, he gave him a warning. So that kind of lines up with he knew about the girls information. That's very serious. When we look at the director and deputy director of the FBI, and I'll read this in a minute. Jay, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Appreciate you, Jay. Appreciate you, Jay. When we look at the FBI, We have to talk about who these people are. It's so important when you look at who these people are. Donald Trump's administration is made up of loyalists. Okay? People that have unwavering support for Trump. MAGA. Donald Trump, right, has always claimed that one of the biggest mistakes he made during his first administration was the transition process. That he had too many bureaucrats, the bureaucracy in his administration. Okay? And after he got elected, Donald Trump Jr. said, we're going to make sure we don't have bureaucrats again telling my father no. Too many people that told Trump no. So he put people like Kash Patel as director of the FBI. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who's the deputy director of the FBI, built a career on social media about the Epstein files. About the Epstein files. Dan Bongino claimed this was the most important thing, that it could ruin the country. Have you guys heard from Dan Bongino at all? Dan Bongino stormed out of the FBI building, stormed out when he heard that Trump was in the files and they were covering it up. Stormed out. Then they had a secret meeting, and you've never heard a peep from him again in regards to this particular issue. Kash Patel, on the other hand, you have heard from, because he's the director of the FBI, and he's testified under oath that there's no evidence. All of a sudden, there's no evidence that any young girls have been trafficked to anyone but Epstein himself. Do you guys think that's true? What about all these survivors and their testimony? Is that not evidence? What's happening to Prince Andrew? Is that because there's no evidence? He's being ostracized. When Donald Trump knew that there were Republicans signing on to this discharge petition most recently, Donald Trump spent hours trying to convince Republicans like Lauren Boebert not to sign on to the petition. Once he couldn't accomplish that goal, what did he do? Now he says, oh, I support the vote completely. But only after he ordered the Department of Justice to launch an investigation into his perceived political opponent's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Why? Not just as a retaliatory measure. Not just to go after other people that he dislikes. So that's part of it, right? Muddying the water. But because they can then force these files to be sealed, worst case scenario. They can take that information and say it pertains to an ongoing investigation. And even if this passes the Senate and is signed by the president, it could be sealed again by the courts. The Department of Justice can claim this pertains to an ongoing investigation. Listen, the Department of Justice is not Donald Trump's personal attorney. You don't get to send your former personal attorney, who's now the Deputy Attorney General, to go sit down with an already convicted violent sex offender to secure a narrative about you before the Oversight Committee gets to subpoena her testimony. American patriots would not tolerate that. You aren't loyal to the country. You aren't loyal to our people. You're loyal to Trump and only Trump. You're not loyal to the truth, and you're not loyal to the Constitution, and you're not loyal to the American people. The Department of Justice is actively working to conceal compromising information about the president. Do you think this is all a coincidence? You should be ashamed of yourself. And listen, here's the thing. I want you to ask yourself, Trump supporters, if this passes the House, which it already did today, it already passed the House. If it passes the Senate and the president vetoes this bill, will you still support him? And if he doesn't veto the bill and he signs it and the pages about him are missing, will you still support him? You need to ask those questions because one of those two possibilities is going to come true. If the Epstein files pass the Senate and the president signs the bill and all of those pages are removed because there's an ongoing investigation, will you still support it? That's what you need to ask yourself. And I bet for a lot of Trump supporters, that will be the answer. Yes, I will still support him. Henry says, I think he's going to veto it or try. I don't think he can in that circumstance because that just looks incredibly guilty, but he could. He could veto it. You can also override a veto. But that's not the point. The point is that's the purpose of launching the investigation, people, so he has something to lean back on in case it does pass the Senate. Don't you understand? That's a legal maneuver, so that way they can redact the information that pertains to Donald Trump. Why would you be okay with that? These people are in here condoning the idea that the Department of Justice can sit down with a known sex offender. Let me ask you a question, everybody. Is Ghislaine Maxwell more likely to lie in 2011, before Donald Trump's even in elected politics, or after she's already been criminally convicted and has everything to gain? When is she more likely to lie? After she's been criminally convicted, or in 2011 in a private email conversation with Jeffrey Epstein before Trump is even in elected politics? Are you okay with the Department of Justice, the Deputy Attorney General, and the Attorney General assisting in moving a sex offender who participated in the abuse like Ghislaine Maxwell to a dorm? By the way, we've just found out she's getting preferential treatment in that dorm. She has an emotional support dog. She gets customized meals. She's had private workout sessions. And you support that? That's sick. But it's not surprising. It does not surprise me that Trump supporters support this. And here's the thing, Democrats. You're going to be able to apply this PDF file label accurately once this either gets released and doesn't include a bunch of pages that pertain to Donald Trump, or he vetoes it, or whatever the case is. Works to try to stop it in the Senate. You're going to be able to accurately apply that label. Republicans love to say Joe Biden was creepy, and look at them now. Look at them now. Look at them now. In my chat, misspelling the word your. Misspelling the word your like you wouldn't believe. Single as a Pringle. Red-pilled incel culture. Oh, my God. Type 1 in the chat if you do not support Donald Trump and his concerted effort to keep this a secret. Type 1 in the chat. Bro, Relic typed you are when I said spelling you're wrong. Relic just typed you are. Dude, Relic typed you are when I said and spelling you're wrong. He just typed you, the letter U, are. Type 1 is spam those ones if you don't support Trump. You see this, Trump supporters? You see how many people don't support this bullshit? You see how many people do not support this nonsense? They're just not as loud as you. They're just not as loud as you. That's what you're not understanding. They're here. They're just not as loud. Plain and simple. All right, let's open up the phone lines. Let's take some phone calls. Do not call from unknown numbers. Call from your actual numbers. Let's hear your takes on why you are still supporting Donald Trump after the release of these emails by the Oversight Committee using their subpoena power and the passing of the Epstein Transparency Act in the House. Guys, by the way, there was only one no vote, and that was Clay Higgins. Charcity, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Charcity. Appreciate you, Charcity. That's a fake number. Don't call on those numbers. Charcity, thank you so much, Charcity.
Brian.
Hey, man, hold on one second, okay? Charcity, thank you so much, Charcity. I appreciate you, Charcity. Thank you for the people sending super chats. I really appreciate you. Guys, there's 4 minutes and 34 seconds left on the goal. I would appreciate if you guys would try and complete the super chat goal. If you could, I would appreciate it. What's your first name, dude?
Brian.
Ryan, why are you still supporting Donald Trump through all of this? Just tell me why.
Well, I guess I'm not answering with a question, but
Yeah, go ahead.
what exactly is in the emails? Has more news come out since? I just haven't seen anything in the news that was all that incriminating.
Well, I wish you were here. I just kind of explained all this. What it is there's two parts to this. One is the conspiracy to keep it from the American people, and to what extent he engaged in criminal conduct with Epstein. I don't know if he directly engaged in abuse with Epstein. I don't know. I think he knew about it. It appears he was aware of it at the very least. But what I do know is there's been a concerted effort to keep it from the American public, like sitting down with Ghislaine Maxwell right before she gets subpoenaed as soon as she gets subpoenaed by the Oversight Committee, they immediately sit down with her to secure that narrative because they're concerned about what she's going to say, right? The things the FBI have said, Donald Trump's efforts to keep Republicans from signing on to the discharge petition, calling it a hoax, telling people in the administration not to talk about it anymore, Pam Bondi telling him in May he's in the file. There's a lot of different reasons why. Sheffy, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay, so the part two is if he does sign this bill and everything's released, and there just happens to be nothing about him in there, you're still going to see that as evidence that he was involved in some way?
So let me explain that. So if the files were released 100%, meaning there was no redactions, because the issue is, when Donald Trump figured out this was going to get voted on regardless, he immediately ordered the Department of Justice to open another investigation. And surface level, it may seem, maybe he just wants to get other people caught so it's just not about him anymore. Well, what that also does is gives the legal grounds to seal this information from the public further, even if they pass this bill. There's going to be serious legal complications. That investigation could cause this to be largely redacted, even if it passes the Senate and is signed by the president. So it's highly concerning. If we got 100% of the truth and it showed nothing about him in there, so I would come on here and say, I was wrong. But the problem is that Pam Bondi informed Trump he was in the files in May. You don't go to these efforts to conceal this information from the public unless there's some kind of criminal involvement, or at least at the very least, information beyond what he previously disclosed publicly. I guess that's certainly an option as well. But in more or less, the argument relies on the fact that there's been a concerted effort to keep it from the American people.
Hey, fair enough. I voted for Trump for various reasons. I've been frustrated about this whole Epstein thing for almost 6 years now, and I'm ready for these to be released and damn who it thinks with them. And
so, can you tell me?
I take your point.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you think Donald Trump worked hard to have Republicans not sign on to the discharge petition? Why do you think he was trying to convince Boebert to not sign on?
I guess only time will tell on that one.
Why do you
I
think?
can't-
Can I ask
can't
you
give-
why you think he would send his personal attorney, who's now coincidentally the deputy attorney general, to sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell prior to her testimony in front of the oversight committee? Can you give me one logical explanation why you would do that if you're trying to get the truth?
No, I wasn't even aware of any of that. Actually, I voted for him, but I'm not a diehard. If the guy I voted for turns out to be a pervert, hey man.
Do you
he
find
can
it
go to hell.
concerning that the FBI now claims under oath there was no evidence of any young girls being trafficked to anyone but Epstein himself? I'm going to tell you right
I have
now.
not
I'm going
heard
to
that.
go.
That's pretty
Yeah, that's Kash
wild.
Patel. I'm going to go a step further. I think they're trying to transition us into normalizing this type of behavior. Did you hear what Megyn Kelly said recently?
I've heard a little bit of what she said, but not necessarily on this topic.
You should go look it up. You should go watch it. I'm highly concerned what they're attempting to do here. But the point is, there's two different parts, right? The effort to cover it up, and I can't tell you to what extent that relationship was. I don't know if he directly participated in abuse or not. I cannot make that claim at this point. But I can say there's been a serious effort to keep us from knowing what's in those files, and that's highly concerning.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Susie, thank you so much if I didn't say that too. So the point is that, man, right? And like you admitted, like I didn't know about this information. So take this into consideration when you're listening to my argument. I'm not claiming 100% he had participated in it. I don't give a shit what his reason is for keeping it from the American public. It's clear he's in there because Pam Bondi informed him he was in there. To what extent, it doesn't really at this point matter to me. He should be removed. Now, if it's in terms of like his criminal responsibility, it matters, and to the lengths in which he should be punished criminally if there's something in there, yes. But in terms of politically, I think I've made enough of a case for him to be impeached or to step down. And I don't just think him. I think based on my argument, the director of the FBI should step down, the deputy director of the FBI, the attorney general, the deputy attorney general, the chief of staff, and the president.
Well, I don't know specifically on all of this stuff, but I agree. Sunlight is the greatest disinfectant, and this shit needs to stop being hidden. They gotta release it already.
I agree. Regardless, it has to be released. Our country can't move forward. Here's the other thing too. Like, how is our country going to move forward? Like our system that relies on people trusting the integrity of the system, if we know this information exists and the government won't release it. Like, let's take our country back. I don't care, Democrat or Republican, get these creeps out of our government now.
Yep. Sadly, I think that that's been shattered beyond repair. I think you're going to have certain people who think they can't be trusted when Republicans are in office, and there's the other people who think they can't be trusted when Democrats are in office. And I think to heal that's going to be a long road, but hey, maybe releasing this and refuel is a step in the right direction on that.
I agree. All right, man. Take care.
Take it easy.
If you are a Trump supporter and you're still supporting Donald Trump through all of this, you can call in at 908-652-3703 and give me your take as to why you're still supporting him through all this.
Call from.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes,
Okay, what's your first name?
Anthony.
What's going on, Anthony? Why are you still supporting Donald Trump through all this?
I've been following the emails that have been coming out, and while I think that some of them embarrass him, the one was about that he was in a room alone with one of the victims, and that victim was also the same person who wrote a book saying that Trump didn't do anything bad. Now, on the front, that's where I think I don't
the
think he
emails
did
don't
anything.
say he did anything bad to her either, so I don't know what the connection is.
Right, well, the book came out from the victim saying that Trump was in the room with her and he didn't do anything bad.
Yeah, and
I
the emails
think
don't
there's been
suggest he did anything bad. So that's the point I'm making. This emails
Right.
don't
Do
suggest
I
he
think
did
there's
either.
do I think there's been a concerted cover up on both ends? Because this guy has been doing that stuff with girls for decades on all forms of the government, Democrat, Republican, foreign governments. Yeah, I think he was heavily involved with foreign governments. The emails were kind of proving that with the type of guys he was having over at his different houses or mansions. So I think that's why the cover up. I think this goes way beyond Trump or Biden or Obama or Bush. I mean, you could go back as far as Bush easily, and maybe even Clinton. That there's a reason why this guy has been covered up for so long. Is because he's been some sort of integral part, whether it's the CIA or Mossad or anything else, and he was basically given free reign to do whatever he wanted. And I think donors are going to be embarrassed or implicated doing bad things. I think there's a lot of people on the edge of the sword, and both Democrats and Republicans are holding the sword.
So let me address this. So number one, I just want to clarify. No one is saying that there aren't going to be Democrats potentially implicated. I could not care less about party affiliation when it comes to this. Of course, it's not just about Trump. Anyone that tells you it's just about Trump doesn't know what they're talking about. It has a lot more to do with Trump. I don't hear anyone saying it's just about Trump. The relationship to Trump, and the reason he's a primary part of this discussion, is he's the president of the United States, and he's the person actively keeping it from the American people's sight, right? There's been a concerted effort to keep that from the American people, from him. So, of course, people are going to be more interested as it pertains to him, right? Number two, that victim's name, we don't really know for sure. This was the White House who made that claim, but regardless, the emails don't claim that he did that. Why that email is more important is it contradicts the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell to the Deputy Attorney General. You understand?
And I think
that's the problem.
I think she'll say anything.
The survivors,
I think she'll say anything to get whatever.
Okay,
yeah.
but the point is, she'll say anything, right? Exactly. You're walking into my point. You just said it. She'll say anything. So why would the administration send the Deputy Attorney General, who was Donald Trump's attorney, to go sit down with her prior to her testimony in front of the Oversight Committee? You know she's going to say anything, right? Why would you reward her for saying, I've never seen Trump criminally involved with Epstein? By the way, she was moved to a low security, minimum security prison, a dorm essentially, as a result of that lie. So not only did you take that lie, you rewarded her for it. This meeting was quid pro quo, which is what we accused them of, and they denied it. And they won't even answer us what that was about.
I think she should be buried below the jail. I mean, that's my
but you're missing the point, though.
I don't think
buddy, listen, you're missing the point, though. The point is, they didn't send the Deputy Attorney General to go sit down with her until the Oversight Committee was going to subpoena her testimony. Before that, Trump was saying, we're done talking about this. We're done talking about Epstein. Okay, we're finished with it. And then when the Oversight Committee said, okay, you're finished with it, we're going to subpoena her testimony and hear what she has to say about your involvement, now all of a sudden they send the Deputy Attorney General. That's what a guilty person does. An innocent person doesn't do that. An innocent person says, well, I have nothing to hide. I don't care if the Oversight Committee subpoenas her testimony. Why would I care? A guilty person doesn't try and convince Republicans not to sign on to the discharge petition. An innocent person doesn't launch an investigation so you can ultimately conceal this evidence regardless if it passes the Senate. An innocent person doesn't say it was a hoax, right? All of these things, when you put them together, you realize it's been an organized effort to keep this from the American public. That's a problem. That's impeachable. What's the primary responsibility of the Department of Justice, if you had to say?
I would say to investigate, possible, we'll say possible crimes.
To uphold the rule of law. To uphold the rule of law, right? To enforce federal laws, to uphold the rule of law, right? And then to ensure the public safety, to protect the public's interests, right? Defend the
But they
interest.
haven't
Would
done
you would
that
you agree? Defend
for
the interest.
decades.
But listen, defend the interests of the United States. Do you think they're defending the interests of the United States when they're actively being weaponized to conceal potential criminal conduct with a violent sex offender, and then having a meeting with her quid pro quo? Do you think that's a problem? That's a problem. That's a big problem.
I think they've been concealing it for years, though, and this goes way before Trump.
But do you recognize what I just said?
Obama would have been implicated. I mean, all these other presidents, and
Obama.
I know they had the sweetheart deal for Epstein to get out of jail for the trouble he got in the first few times. It was way before Trump was running for president. And
I don't know what you
let
mean
it
with
go.
Obama. What do you mean with Obama specifically? What efforts did Obama take to conceal information about Epstein?
Exactly. It was blind. He didn't do anything. He didn't release anything. They decided to keep it
Release
under wraps.
what? What would you want him to release at that point?
These files have been going on for decades.
Yeah, but they didn't start talking
Decades.
about this until 2020, dude. This didn't start becoming.
Well,
this...
but the files were still there.
What files?
Just because they didn't start talking about it. Epstein's files. They've had court documents for years, way before Trump.
But why would he release?
So
There's
these
a
files
million.
are just not from
but at this
2016.
But at that
and
time, they didn't know. Like you're talking about, like you understand it's not the same, right? Like you do get it, right?
I'm pretty sure. Well, when they let Epstein off the hook and let him out for knowing what he was doing during the Obama years, yeah, that's kind of. They knew what was going on, and they decided to say, "Well, no, our hands are clean."
Here's the primary
because
thing to
he's
remember.
tied with Israel.
Here's the primary thing to remember. Okay, they were sealed largely by the courts at that time, and maybe because there was ongoing investigations. You said it yourself, right? He was still being investigated and still being prosecuted. That case is over under the Trump administration, right? That's the
that first case was over before the Trump administration.
There was still legal.
He was let go.
There were still legal proceedings going on.
So those files for those should have been able to.
It's not true.
Been released.
That's not true.
Because that investigation ended. They
when?
settled.
No, it didn't. What are you talking about?
The first time when he got the sweetheart deal when Epstein first got out.
He was still
not
right.
the second time when he got in.
Yes, there were.
So from that case, from that narrow case, those files right there, when they did that sweetheart deal for him, those could have been released from that specific case. They didn't. They hid it. They put that down in the bunker and let it sit.
Who did?
And then what happens? All of it comes rushing back.
Who are you talking
about? The
Obama
DOJ. The Obama
but
DOJ.
You're not understanding. People were not talking about it the way they are today. Like do you think they were talking?
Because now they're getting
you
pushed
didn't
back
know
on
who
all
Epstein was under Obama. You had no idea who Epstein was until 2020. You had no clue. Don't claim that you did. Right? That's
but
all.
The government did. Why was the government shutting it? It doesn't matter if the normal public did.
But that's not.
Why did the
that's not
government shut it
Obama
down?
doing that. Obama's not saying,
That
"Hey,
was
give
Obama's
that
DOJ.
give Epstein that sweetheart deal." Again, he's not saying Epstein give that sweetheart deal. Listen, do you know this guy died under the Trump administration? He literally was. So you want to listen? Do you know he died under the Trump administration? Epstein.
It's Epstein, yes.
Yeah. So I died under their administration. It must have been them, right?
Oh no, I think it's way more than them.
Okay, but the point I'm making is Obama himself isn't sitting down and negotiating deals. Okay, he's the president of the United States.
We don't know what Obama. That was his DOJ.
Guy,
if
you got you can't be that dumb.
Epstein was
you
working
really
with
think
Israel.
you really
if
think
Epstein was working with Israel and we're best friends with Israel? Why didn't the Democrats release the files back then?
Now you're making connections.
Now
you
they
can't
all of a sudden.
substantiate.
Now
you're making connections. You don't even know that he was working.
It's in the email.
You're making connections.
It's in the email.
No, that's not what the email say. Okay, what's the email say?
So he wasn't he wasn't having people over who were high up in the Israel government.
Wait. You just moved the goalpost. Now you just moved the goalpost again.
No, that's the same thing I just said.
Wait. Being friends, guy, interrupt me again. I'm going to kick you. Having friendships with people who are high up in government doesn't mean you are necessarily working for said government or working for intelligence agencies. You moved the goalpost. Stop moving the goalpost.
Okay, but being friends with someone who is a pedophile doesn't mean you should be implicated that you were doing anything wrong. But that's what the Democrats have been saying about Trump.
You can't be this dumb. You really believe Obama
That's a
is
double
negotiating? It's not the same, because do you know what the distinct difference is between the two? Obama's not accused of having a criminal relationship with Epstein, and Trump is. Biden's been in elected politics for 5 decades. He's never been accused of being in a relationship with, having any kind of relationship with Epstein. In fact, the right has gone as far as to Photoshop and spread pictures all over social media claiming they were real and then refusing to apologize. Trump has repeatedly made false claims about Obama. The distinct difference is Trump had a relationship with Epstein. Do you understand the difference? What would Obama's motive be? What would Obama's motive be? Tell me.
It's simple. If Epstein was tied with people high up in Israel's government.
You can't. That's the dumbest take I've ever heard in my life. Obama's covering it up because Epstein is working for intelligence agencies, and he's covering it up because they're friends with Israel. And I'm the one that's speculating? I'm the one using conjecture? You can't substantiate anything you just said. The things I'm saying I can substantiate. And I can give you motive that I can substantiate. Here's the difference. Trump is in the files. The DOJ informed him he's in the files. There was an organized, concerted effort to conceal that information from the public. The motive is his criminal involvement. Holy shit, you guys are dumb. Like, these are you're what you're doing is you're putting you're wrapping up these conspiracies in your argument that you can't substantiate. Danielle, thank you, says in 2011 email, Epstein ends by saying he hasn't been mentioned. He being Trump. This implies Epstein is surprised the survivor didn't name Trump. Yes. You're spelling "you're" wrong in chat and telling me I'm wrong. King Philip, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're not a king either. Shut up. All right, let's take another Trump supporter that's still supporting Trump. Stick to the facts. Could he potentially have been working on behalf of Mossad? That's a theory. Saying Obama was in the files or saying Obama was protecting Epstein because he was working for Mossad is speculation that you cannot substantiate. That's a theory. What's going on, dude?
What's going on?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes and no. I'm not on either side. I support some stuff. I hate some stuff.
Nope. Who'd you vote for?
I didn't vote.
Adam, do you agree, or am I connecting things that should be? No, Danielle, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Sorry, so you voted for who?
I didn't vote presidential. I voted everything but.
You didn't vote, man?
Nope, didn't vote.
Okay. Who'd you vote for? Who was the last person you voted for?
Biden, and before that, I didn't vote, and before that...
No, who'd you vote for in your local election?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like state?
You didn't vote. Non-participant. If you are a participant, please call in. If you voted for Trump, if you're an adult and you live in the United States, those are the requirements.
Call from
Tim.
Tim, what's going on? Are you a Trump supporter? Tim, and did you vote?
Oh, I love Trump. I support Trump 100%.
Okay. And why do you support him through all of this, Tim?
All of what?
Through the stuff that the Oversight Committee releasing the emails. Now they're voting on the Epstein Transparency Act. Your thoughts?
Yeah, to me, the emails kind of prove his innocence.
Really? How?
Well, who was the reporter talking to Epstein, trying to blackmail him? I know Trump was the one. Well, Epstein thinks Trump was the one that turned him in, that got him put in jail.
Again,
I know
can you
they
explain how it
hated
shows
each
him
other.
he's innocent, please?
Did you see the hearing back in 2019?
Can you stop
Congresswoman
asking
from
me
the Virgin
questions?
Isles?
Can you stop asking me questions and just tell me? I know who you're referring to, and you're talking about the Michael Wolff. Can
Yeah,
you just make your statement? Thank you.
No, I'm talking about the Congresswoman who was texting Epstein live.
Oh yeah, Stacey
on the
Plaskett.
January.
Stacey Plaskett, yes.
Yeah, did you see that?
I did. It's deeply troubling.
And here's another. Deeply. Come on, that's
Deeply troubling is
incredible.
not good enough for
Scary.
you? I said it's
A
troubling.
pedophile. It's a pedophile controlling our Democratic Party.
Wow. Controlling's
I mean,
probably a bit
it's
strong.
ridiculous.
Controlling's a bit strong.
Controlling
Controlling
a congresswoman.
All right, let me.
The pedophile.
Calm
right,
down.
that Biden didn't turn in.
Calm
that
down.
Obama didn't turn in.
Turn in.
Well,
turn in. How would they
yeah,
turn
they had
him
all
in?
the evidence.
What are you
They
talking?
had all the
Another
evidence.
guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. So let me explain. First of all, controlling the party is not true. Guys, make sure you look this stuff up. I'm so tired of misinformation. Stacey Plaskett, right? Democrat, Virgin Islands, was essentially texting a bunch of people during the Cohen hearing. Texted her about Rona. Of course, Stacey Plaskett didn't know who Rona was and asked if it was an acronym. Epstein said no, the assistant. She was texting a number of people. Now, I'm not excusing it. I'm deeply concerned with it as well because I'm concerned with the connections he had with politicians in both parties. This is not a secret. No one's surprised by this information. Was he texting politicians? Yes. Were they talking? Yes. Controlling? That's a leap that you're making without any evidence. Okay? The office responded and said she prosecutes. This is how she goes about this. She takes advice from donors, the public, other people in Congress, all sorts of people, right? She texts with. Epstein happened to be one of them. Yes, I think it's troublesome. To say he's controlling the Democratic Party, that's a stupid leap of faith with no evidence whatsoever. Stop coming up here and saying things that aren't fucking true. You guys can't just take one thing that happens to be true and talk about it normally. You then have to leap into why didn't Obama turn him in? That's about the stupidest statement anyone could make about this. Why didn't Obama turn him in? God damn. What's your first name, dude?
Aaron.
Aaron, are you a Trump supporter? Did you vote for Trump? Are you an adult? And do you live in the United States?
I'm an adult. I live in the United States. I voted for Kamala.
Okay, I'm looking to speak to Trump's supporters, but I'll give you...
I was a Trump supporter. I have a theory no one's floated yet.
Okay, go ahead. Float it.
Can
Let's
I
hear
float it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I've been following the Epstein case since 2008. I had a friend that was connected to it in prosecution, and it was fascinating to me to see him just get let off back then and just be set free back into the world. Most of the things that he was accused of, he wasn't even tried of. They dropped so many things, if you look into it, that were just terrible. So my theory is this. I never heard anyone talk about Epstein in mainstream media since then, not through the rest of the Obama administration, not through when he was free during the Biden administration, and even during the Trump administration when the Republicans were all saying, oh, Epstein, 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 still no one wanted to look at it or cover it. The day that Trump said, why are you talking about Epstein? Why is everyone talking about this? Why are you doing this? Was the day the media, suddenly every publication I look at, even on CNN, they're saying that the entire country is polling at 75% think it's the top story in the country. Not 2% cared about it the day before he said that. I know because I talked to people about it.
It's not true, though.
I'm a conspiracy theorist for the last 10 years. everyone I talk to, there's like
I'm sorry,
it's a
that's
conspiracy.
anecdotal. Maybe you talked to, but I've been talking politics forever, and I
Well, I've
distinctly.
been watching politics. Show me the Young Turks talking about it before Trump said that. Show me Destiny talking
so
about it. Show me
I
Hassan
just
talking about it. Show me any of them talking about it.
Well, listen,
It
I don't
didn't
know.
exist.
I'm on TikTok, right? I don't know if you've ever watched me on TikTok before.
Don't mind.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That's where I found you.
Have you ever seen me on TikTok?
That's where I found you. I just told
Okay,
you.
and you're telling me you never heard me talk about that during the Biden administration? Guy.
No, I never did. I
Oh
didn't.
my
I
God.
can't say that I've seen everything
all right,
you've said.
I'm gonna say that you're being truthful. I talked about it a lot, but here's the difference.
Good for you. So did I. And
Right.
it's hard because most people. It wasn't a story back then. Like it was just
Well,
something that
that's
had
not.
happened.
I can't
and
say
this
it wasn't a
guy and-
story, but here's the difference. I tried to lay this out for the last guy. The difference is Biden, in 5 decades in politics, has never been accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Epstein. Trump does, so
and I don't
that's
think
the
it's that.
difference.
I think it's what I think is happening is the same deep state that controls Biden, that controls Obama, that controls everyone in their own way is making sure that no one speaks about any of this stuff. I think that it's going to affect world leaders, CEOs, all these corporations, big tech. I think it's going to affect, like, for example, everyone knows that Bill Gates and European Parliament and like so many people we know had these deep relationships and
That's
were
true,
on,
yes.
and no one ever, and that's more what I mean. Where was all this 20 minutes, the Dateline, the CNN, where people were asking these questions before Trump said stop talking about it? And
Wow.
I mean, to be honest, I watched the news every day. I switched.
There was
between everyone. I like to
documentaries
see it
and
all,
stuff.
but guess what?
I mean, there was major
Yeah,
documentaries
but I'm talking about like
released.
mainstream news saying I'm talking about like Rachel Maddow saying release the files. I'm talking about like the mainstream ABC, CNN, MSNBC, the mainstream, the top slots saying release the files, release the files. Those words were never uttered until Trump said forget about the files.
Here's what I will say.
And so
I think you're.
here's my suspicion. I think that there's either Trump is completely implicated, and the reason he did that is to try to get out of it, and he's being told by the deep state now that he needs to about face, and he's doing what he needs to do. Possible. Very, very possible. But what I think is also possible is that this was a businessman who had business dealings with him. I think Trump did his shady stuff behind his doors, and Epstein did his shady stuff behind his doors. Trump had his own girls that Epstein was stealing from him. Why would he need Epstein? I don't think he's in the files. From everything I can find, I found multiple parties where all the celebrities say that Trump dipped out at 9 o'clock because he's not a drinker and he doesn't like the party life before things got crazy. He just made an appearance. I think he was a little smart with it maybe, or it was just he had his own thing going. But regardless, I don't think he's in the files. And I think he knew.
He is, because
that
Pam
he could
Bondi
not
already
get
told me he is.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's in there. It's
You
not going to
mean
look
directly
good. But,
engaged
not
in
to
the
the
big abuse. That's what you mean.
I mean, I don't think they're going to find anything that implicates him in anything really crazy, other than look, but he was there. He might have done something. Now, Bill Clinton, on the other hand, Bill Gates, a lot of these, I think that it's going to be the opposite story. And I think a lot of these bankers, so I think Trump wanted the media to talk about it. I think he knows that if he says the sky is blue, they'll say, no, it's actually green with an iridescent tint of green that changes it to be blue when your eyes see it. Or oxygen is good for you. They'll say, oh, technically when you breathe it in, then you breathe out carbon dioxide, and that becomes bad for you. So technically you're just bitter. Anything he says, we're going to go against it. I'm not stupid. Everything he says, I want to say the opposite. I can't even agree with him when I should. So
Well,
of course he's
let
not
me-
stupid. He knows everything he says. The media, he knows how to play the media.
Let
Anyway.
me respond to this. So here's
He knew what
the
he
thing.
was doing.
There's a couple things. Number one, you're partially correct with what you're saying, but I got to explain to you the other part's not true. It was being talked about. There was 60 Minutes stuff. There was documentaries. Netflix had a huge, popular documentary that dropped during the Biden administration. It was definitely a topic. Now let's be clear. There is a legal process for declassifying information. This was currently under investigation. There was a case being tried. There's a bunch of different elements to this that kept those documents from being released to the public during that time period. Let me just explain something. I don't care who it exposes. I hope it exposes all of them. Here's the thing, though. Pam Bondi informed Trump he was in the files in May. We know he's in the files. This concerted effort, I don't think, has anything to do with the deep state. I think it's for very selfish reasons.
Even
Trump
Elon
may
Musk came
not-
out and said that he's in the files.
But listen, Trump may not have directly participated in the abuse, but I would bet a lot on him being aware of it at the very least and being okay with it.
Oh,
in the
absolutely.
sense that,
And I think that
Well, that's
I think
enough
that's
to remove him.
absolutely going to come out, but the laundry list of the hundreds, if not thousands, of people in our government and in power that also knew it was happening and didn't say anything. It's kind of like the Me Too movement. It's funny how Harvey Weinstein suddenly is a monster. Now, all of these actresses have a story, but none of them had a story 10 years ago when they could
But that's
prevented it from
different,
happening
dude.
to another woman.
All right. Well, thanks
You
for
know- you
calling
know?
it. Yeah, thanks for calling it. I appreciate it. Let me explain something really quick. Survivors don't come forward because for a number of reasons, but largely because they don't feel like they're going to be believed. Questioning whether or not survivors are telling the truth because they didn't come forward right away is just not the right thing. Survivors don't come forward because they don't think they're going to be believed, because they feel shame, because they're scared. There's a number of different reasons they don't come forward. So those are two entirely different things you're talking about. In terms of the deep state, I don't know who's controlling what behind the scenes, and I really don't care. I want them all exposed. So regardless, it doesn't matter. I've said multiple times, his connections run deep. Okay? His connections run very deep in our political system. But comparing that to like survivors not coming out right away, we don't blame survivors in here. We don't blame victims in here. Okay? Survivors don't come forward because they feel shame, largely because they're ridiculed and blamed. Do you know how many times Trump supporters have tried to twist this and blame survivors in my life? This morning it happened on TikTok. It happened yesterday at night on YouTube. It's, yeah. Gotta be careful about when we're talking about why they didn't come forward right away. It's a false equivalency. Guys, if you'd like to call in, if you still support Trump through all of this, 908-652-3703. Would appreciate it. If you still support Donald Trump, guys, would appreciate hitting that thumbs up button. If it's your first time here, would appreciate hitting the subscribe button. Would appreciate hitting the subscribe button, ringing the bell. I go live every single day. I try and go live every single day. I haven't set a time here on YouTube, but every single day. Try and bring content every single day. Good conversations about political topics. I do the same thing on TikTok. Been streaming for a few years over there, and I just started over on YouTube about a week ago. So if you'd like to subscribe over here, I'd appreciate it. You can also contribute to the gifting goal. You can support me in the link tree in my bio. I'm on a bunch of different platforms. Started Instagram this year, too. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, that's where I post a lot of political clips. Rory, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, Rory. Appreciate you, Rory.
Call from
Tim.
Tim, are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, it's me again. You hung up on me, man. We were having good dialogue.
No, you're yelling, okay? I don't know what you did. You did
Well,
something.
I can be a little more quiet.
I don't know. If I hung up on you, it's probably for a good reason. Let's try and get someone different here. I don't know why I hung up on you. I can't remember, but guys, if you want to call in, I don't know. This guy thinks I work for fucking the DNC or something. I do not work for the DNC. I criticize Democrats all the time.
Call from
Diego.
Diego, what's going on? You still support Donald Trump through everything that's happening here? No, you called and hung up, Diego. What the fuck? Did you just call in because you wanted to, like, see if the number worked or something? I think that's what Diego did. Guys, if you're just tuning in, the Epstein Transparency Act has passed the House. What happens now? What happens now that it has passed the House? Let's just go over this really quick because I've seen this question multiple times in here and people keep asking it. So the House voted 427-1 to release the Epstein files. 427-1 to release the Epstein files. Now it goes to the Senate. And then it goes to the president's desk. And then the president has the option to sign it or veto it. Right? Or veto it. The Senate is currently controlled by Republicans, and the bill needs bipartisan support to pass. So the hill to climb in the Senate is going to be much more difficult than the House. We don't really have our finger on the pulse in terms of its probability of passing the Senate yet. But if it does, it goes to the president's desk for approval. If you're a Trump supporter, you need to ask yourself this question. If it passed the Senate and Trump vetoed it, would you still support him? That's a question you need to ask. That's a question you need to ask yourself. Rory, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you, Rory. All right, the phone lines are open. If you'd like to call in, you still support Donald Trump during all of this, which I don't know why you would. You can call in at 908-652-3703 and give me your take as to why you're still supporting Donald Trump. Marber, why would I be subject to impeachment, Marber? Why would I be subject to impeachment?
Call from
Art.
Art, what's going on? Are you supporting Donald Trump still?
Yes, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Why are you still supporting? Somebody asked in the chat, when is it expected to be voted on in the Senate? Pretty soon. I know they want to expedite this process, so I could see this being voted on as early as this week, this coming week. I think it's going to
get passed because. Can you hear me, buddy?
Here's the problem, though. If the Senate makes any changes, or there's a lot that goes into this, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, what's going on?
Oh man, the reason I'm a Trump supporter. Live in Texas. At the end of the day, the Republican Party is about money, and both Democrats and Republicans were both involved in shady shit. No doubt about it. Bill Clinton, you look at Bill Gates, you look at all the charities that everybody's donating to, all the crazy money that's going out the door. It's just a toxic environment, and those guys grew up in the 90s where they didn't think any of this shit was going to get out, and now the cat's out of the bag, and everybody's trying to cover up.
Well, they were adults.
Long story short.
They were adults.
Yeah, they were adults, but they grew up in a time when you could get away with anything.
No,
and
sexual
as long
assault.
as you had enough money.
When was sexual assault acceptable? I don't remember that. When was that?
No, but you can't. It was never acceptable. I'll agree with you on that. But like I do, the guys with money could pay their way out of almost anything.
I know, but I feel like you're kind of making excuses for the behavior here.
No, I'm definitely not, man. People that hurt kids. First off, are terrible human beings. The thing that makes me think that Trump was probably smarter than this is because he doesn't drink. And that has me thinking he probably covered up whatever he probably would have done or not put anything in messages. He comes from a New York background, and people like that, literally some of the worst things they got him saying on...
He says he doesn't drink, but I've actually heard conflicting information from people that he actually is into other stuff or was into other stuff, especially in the 80s.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It tends to be white. Tends to be white.
Yeah, no.
Now,
I wouldn't doubt it.
Let me say this really quick. I cannot say for sure that that's true, but I have heard that he participated in that culture in the 80s and 90s. So I don't know to what extent, but that's what
coming from a family that sort of grew up in the affluent side of oil and gas, I would say, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that was like a country club thing to do. That was the thing to do.
I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying to act like he's some sober, I don't touch anything guy.
And I don't,
I'm not sure I believe that, but maybe it's true. I don't know.
As far as that goes, at the end of the day, man, he's going to redact whatever's in there that's going to hold him any kind of liability. I think at the end of the day, if anybody had anything, they would have came out with it by now.
Can I say something, though? Because I'm glad that you are honest enough to admit that clearly he's not going to let anything that's incriminating against him come out, because that's an honest take. But my question for you is, will you still support him if he does that?
If anybody were to do that, yes, I'd turn against them. Let's put it like that.
So,
and I'm sorry, I'm trying my
so
phone's
then if that's
messing
the
up and you're
case,
playing
let
in
me
the
ask you a
background.
question, though.
All right, go ahead, sir.
If that's the case, that you would stop supporting him if that information was redacted, why can't you stop supporting him when you're witnessing a concerted effort to keep it from the American people? What's the difference?
Well, my thing is if there was anything on him, and this is just from, I know the way politics go. I'm a Republican, but I watch CNN more than I watch anything else. And I know that leaks happen. And if there was any kind of information on that, it would have leaked in the last 2 years or the year before the last election. I honestly believe that. It's just the way American
Say that again.
politics
I'm sorry.
works.
What'd you say? What'd you say? Say that part again. He what? The last election?
I said before the last election, there would have been some kind of leaks to come out of somewhere.
Not
to affiliate,
but it was sealed by the court. It was sealed by the court. But
yeah, sealed.
Let me ask you a question, though.
Like I do, that gets leaked too.
Sure. So again, let me say this.
Or
really
something
quick.
comes out.
Let me say this. Let me just say this, though. It's important. Are we going to seriously try and sell me or any other person, Democrats specifically, are you going to try and sell Democrats that Republican MAGA supporters would have believed something released by a Democrat administration during the campaign about Trump? You guys would have claimed, oh, that's fake news. They're just trying to keep him from winning the election. In fact,
without a doubt,
I think had it been released during the campaign, these survivors would have not gotten their justice because Republicans would have immediately dismissed it as Democrat misinformation. I think it would have worked against anyone who wanted real accountability, because the timing would have caused Trump supporters to claim there's motive for Democrats to try and hurt Donald Trump and keep him in the presidency. And you're never going to convince me. A single MAGA person would say, well, you know what? Now that the Biden administration has released the truth about Trump, we're going to stop supporting him. No, you guys would have said, fuck that. That's fake news. And like you do everything else, you know?
No, without a doubt. But can you at least give me 1 point? All of the mainstream media that we really do listen to are left-wing biased. And can we at least agree upon that?
Fox
ABC,
News has a left-wing
NBC,
bias.
all right. Besides Fox News,
Newsmax.
But really, they're not on every TV across
OAN?
America.
They're on
But
a
they're
lot
not
of
on
them.
every.
They're on a lot.
They are, but they're not on rabbit ears.
CNN.
They're not on.
Well, nobody uses that
CNN.
anymore.
CNN just sort of started going neutral, but they're still left leaning.
I
mean,
think they're more right.
I watch a lot of their shows.
I think they've moved.
I mean, they're more now than they were, but at the end of the day, there is government operatives out there for both sides. And I would say there would, at this time, there's definitely more left than right.
At the end of the day, okay, what this comes down to is whether or not your support for Trump is more important than the truth. If you're interested more in the truth than your support of Donald Trump and your interests or why you support Donald Trump, if that's more important than the truth for you, if it's okay that he may have known about it or engaged in this behavior, then just admit it. Hey, I'm still going to support him regardless. But there's no way that you can claim Trump is any kind of innocent at this point. He's clearly implicated. To what degree has not been determined.
Can you give me that? I mean, my thing is how did Epstein make his money, right?
Well,
he made his money by tricking people. All right, by tricking people to come in. And this is just all me thinking, just thinking logically. Tricking people, bringing them in, and then blackmailing them and telling them, hey, look, I got you with this 15-year-old girl. You better transfer God knows however much money or else this is getting out.
Well, that's been
a theory. And this is just my thought. But I mean, there's a bait and switch that some of those guys, I'm sure, have tried to play. Whether he's a government,
he was primarily like a wealth manager, essentially. how he
Yeah,
obtained
fake professor.
how he obtained the connections as a because again, Ghislaine Maxwell's really the answer to this question. How he obtained those connections through, and obviously. Anyway, the point is several billionaire clients, right? The founder of Victoria's Secret, just a ton of really powerful, dangerous people. How did he obtain that amount of wealth, and how do you make those connections? Is there something else that's missing? Probably, and I hope we eventually get the truth for the sake of our country. That's not the point, though, as it pertains to this administration. Are you willing to admit that there's been a concerted effort to conceal that information? And if you're willing to admit that, why are you still supporting Trump? That's simply the question here. Can you answer it?
If it's proven, let's put it like this. I will never support anybody that would harm.
Okay, can you just tell me if okay, it hasn't been proven. Can you give me one legitimate justification for sending Todd Blanche to go sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell when you find out her testimony is being subpoenaed? Give me one legitimate justification for doing that.
I could give you my personal theory.
Go ahead, give me one.
And
make it short. One justification.
I'll make it real short. That there's a lot of money and that's going around, and there's a lot of people and a lot of heavy donors that said, "Hey, you better get control of this, or else." Same way that Epstein ended up dead. It's just a lot of you better get control of this, or else. And I don't know who that figure is, and I'm not saying it is, but there is a concerted effort to cover it up. And I'm not saying it's Trump. I'm not saying it's anybody, but it's definitely.
The question is why.
I think it comes down to money. Money, my friend.
Money for who?
Money for the party. You think that one of the richest men in the world, Bill Gates, is just going to roll over?
But I'm talking about in terms of Trump. So you don't think Trump is the person in charge of the concerted effort?
No, because he's just
come on, man.
in the grand scheme of things, he's not. I'm just telling you what I think.
All right.
I'm just telling you what I think.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate your take.
You have a good day, man. It's a great show, sir.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for calling in. Jennifer, thank you for sending 100 for 2 joules. Stefan, thank you for 100 for 2 joules. I don't even know what this is. Combo times 200 for 2 joules. Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate you. Julian. Thank you, Julian. Appreciate you, Julian. I don't know. To say Trump is not behind that effort is crazy to me. I don't care what your theory is. To say Trump is not responsible, at least for that aspect of it. Here's what I'm saying. Everyone's going to have different reasons why they don't want it to come out. Like, I don't believe they're all coming together and saying, okay, guys, this is step number 2. Rich and powerful on line 4, Mr. President Trump. Hello, how are you? Hi, it's me. I'm the owner of... Like, that's not how it's working. Trump is just thinking in his head, well, there's information in those files that is going to expose me for being a creep. To what extent, I don't know. Maybe it's going to expose me... Anything beyond what he's previously disclosed publicly will be a career ender in terms of...
Glenn.
His ability to continue as president of the United States. Even if it's, hey, he told him that he gave him a warning and told him to stop and then cut him off, and then you find out that the relationship, went on much longer, right? It could be just that. I mean, we don't know. Glenn, what's going on? You're a Trump supporter? Why are you still a Trump supporter through all of what we're witnessing here? By the way, update for everybody.
I'm here to answer the question you got on your page there. Why would I support Trump, during this whole Epstein situation,
That's the
right?
question I just asked.
That's the question?
You. So hold on a second and calm down. Calm yourself down. So just an update for everyone. The Transparency Act passed the House 427-1. The one Republican who didn't vote was Clay Higgins. Republican. The one Republican that voted no, just so everybody knows. Go ahead. What's your answer to the question?
Yeah. So the answer to your question of why would I support Trump despite
we don't need you to read the question again. Just answer it.
That's what a good presenter does. You read back the question to somebody when you're...
Have a good day. You've read back the question 3 times. Fucking answer it and move on. And by the way, when I ask you a question, don't say no, no, no. You answer the question I'm asking you, right? Clay Aiken? No, Clay Aiken. Somebody in the chat said Clay Aiken. By the way, let me just play this really quick for everyone in here. Now that there's other people in here, I want you guys to see this, okay? I want you guys to see something. Clay Higgins, the only Republican to vote no on the Epstein Transparency Act, left a really cryptic video on his Twitter the night before he voted no. The night before he voted no. Let's take a listen to it really quick. I just want you to hear this because it's kind of creepy now.
Monday night in D.C. A lot going on. Going to be a very busy week. Just keep in mind, America, that, you know, we have to try to do the right thing, even if it's like difficult. We have to try to do the right thing at all times. So that's what I shall continue to do. Oh.
If that doesn't send chills down your spine, I don't know what to say. Salty, don't tell me what to do. What the fuck? Go start your own fucking platform and do your own thing. Let the callers do their thing. What do you think this is? You're new? No, I don't let them do whatever they want. That will never happen in a million years. That's not how you do this. You would know, though, right? Because you do it. Trump is not the right thing. No, he's not. I think it's highly concerning, and I think the fact that nobody gives a shit is another fucking concerning fact. Trump supporters sit here and still support it. It's so sad, dude. It really is. It's sad that there are this many people in this country who are peds. Really, because if you just knowingly support... Again, ask yourself the question. If Trump vetoes the bill, will you still support him? If Trump vetoes the bill, will you still support him? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Damn, you'd be wrong about that. Build, program, thrive. You're not thriving on here, that's for sure. That's for damn sure. Oh yeah, no, I don't let people fucking do shit like that. Oh no, I'm laying it out pretty clear. There's a concerted effort to conceal the information. To what extent, I have no idea. It could be simply that Trump knew about it. Could be that he facilitated it. Could be whatever it is. It doesn't matter if he knew about it, participated in it. That's a different issue that's going to require potentially a criminal court. This is about impeachment. This is about removing him from the White House. And he is engaged in conduct that is impeachable. And that's a fact. And if you don't like that, okay, then fucking get over it. You got it? If you don't like that, I don't care. It's the truth. The truth is the only thing that matters. If you don't like the truth, this isn't the place for you. I only tell the truth. So you figure out what you want. You want to go into an echo chamber that only talks about how great Trump is and how he's not criminally implicated and he didn't attempt to cover it up. Go listen to someone who's going to lie to you. It's not going to happen in here. It's just not. The truth is the truth. There is no your truth. There's no my truth. There is the truth. If you're a Trump supporter and you'd like to call in, I'm coming to the end here. Would appreciate calling in right now If you are a Trump supporter, you want to simply tell me why you still support Trump through everything that's happening right now. 908-652-3703. Let's hear, why are you still supporting Donald Trump? Don't give me anything other than that. That's what I want to hear today. That's what I'm interested in hearing now.
Call from
Warm space.
Oh, God, this guy's been watching my live the whole time. You must be bored by now. You must have something better to do. You must have something better to do. Isn't there like an elderly woman next door who needs her like driveway shoveled? Aren't there leaves to rake or something? You know? Vance 25. Yeah, Lorraine, there's always a lot of ignorant Trump supporters on YouTube. You know how it goes. Because you can say whatever you want over here, pretty much. That's why.
Call from
What's going on? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I'm glad I finally got through to you.
What's up, man? What's your first name, and why are you supporting Trump through all of this?
Man, I support Trump for a lot of reasons, and I'm surprised to hear the things you say, man.
What?
What's that? You're breaking up.
It's not me breaking up. You have shitty service. Brand, what's going on? Are you a Trump supporter?
Press 1. To send
Brand, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, why are you supporting Trump through all of this? Go ahead.
Well, I just don't know if there's been, or at least I haven't seen enough evidence that would put him in the category of being a pedophile or degenerate toward children, I guess. Somebody who would Epstein would get information on and unfortunately used innocent women and children to blackmail the elites, I guess. If that makes any sense. The emails that have been released haven't really provided enough insight into what could be, something that's damning, kind of the final nail in the coffin, or something that could be ignored. I know that there's a vote that's occurring right now, or there seems to be a vote that's occurring right now.
No, the vote's over.
Happened to release.
The vote passed.
Yeah, had happened. That's good. That's good.
It's great, but here's the thing, right? So you're looking, again, I've explained this multiple times, but maybe you didn't hear me. You're talking about evidence that proves he directly engaged in conduct, in sexual abuse, right? I'm not claiming that, right? I think it's likely he knew about it and still hosted him at his establishments and was in his presence privately, and I think there's potential for more than that, but I don't have evidence of that. What I do know for sure is that the information is damning, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't go to such trouble to keep it from the view of the American public, right? So focusing on the specific actions he's taken to keep it from the public's view is what I think is the bigger issue here right now. And why aren't Trump supporters concerned with that? Why are you not looking at this concerted effort to keep it from the public and saying, oh, only a guilty person keeps it from the public? Isn't that common sense?
Yeah, I would say that's common sense.
Right.
So
I simplify it with just a question, right? Let me just ask it in the question form and you'll get it better. Why would you send your deputy attorney general to sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell only when you find out they're about to subpoena her testimony? And now we see in these 2011 emails that the testimony she gave Todd Blanche probably wasn't true. She received preferential treatment for that meeting We accused them of meeting quid pro quo. They won't tell us why she was then moved to a minimum security prison where she's now receiving preferential treatment. So give me one logical explanation for them sending the Deputy Attorney General to sit down with a violent sex offender prior to her testimony in front of the Oversight Committee. Does that make any sense unless you're guilty and scared that her narrative might actually expose you, and so you want to get a hold of that narrative prior to that testimony?
I don't know enough about that situation to draw any conclusions on it, to be 100% honest with you. It's the first time I'm hearing about that. So I can't really speak to it.
I got to say, though, I am surprised at how many Trump supporters have just found out that Todd Blanche sat down with Maxwell. I wish you guys watched me, because you would have known this, because I made a huge deal out of it in July when it was happening. I uploaded videos, talked about it on live stream.
Fine. I mean, I'm watching it right now.
About it.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just, it's concerning to me that you're not aware that the Deputy Attorney General, now the Deputy Attorney General is Todd Blanche, who's Trump's former personal attorney, literally sat down with her and got no new information other than Trump never did anything bad. Right, and I never saw Trump in a private setting, and then we see emails before he's in elected politics that of Epstein talking to Ghislaine about how Trump is at his house in the presence of a victim, which would contradict that testimony. Right, she was rewarded for that testimony, so clearly it's troublesome. Right, it's problematic for a number of different reasons, ethically, right, legally, but ultimately. You look at also the fact that the FBI won't sit down with the survivors, right? They've offered to give their testimony under oath. Why are we talking to Ghislaine Maxwell? The survivors today who spoke out at the press conference talked about this exact point, how pissed off they are that Ghislaine Maxwell's getting preferential treatment in a minimum security prison when she's a violent sex offender who participated in the abuse.
Yeah, I don't deny the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell should be hanging from a tree, but I think you kind of got to squeeze. It's unfortunate because unfortunately, like, you got to butter people up. You got to do really stupid shit. Like I personally think that people who are found guilty of having child pornography on their phone, just really really nasty things. The plea deals that they get, even the layman, even people who, and I'm not trying to move the conversation at all. I'll bring it back. They get these sweetheart deals. These sex offenders get all these sweetheart deals, even though it's one of the most heinous crimes that can be committed in any given society is to harm a child or sexually abuse somebody.
I agree, 100%.
It's pretty fucked up stuff. So, and what's really nasty about it all, and it really it turns our guts, is when you do see preferential treatment. You do see these people, end up on the upper tiers of society while the rest of us are just kind of trying to go about our business and not doing the wrong thing.
But you're kind of proving my point, though, aren't you?
Gets moved.
Aren't you proving my
this
point,
is what
though?
I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, if Ghislaine Maxwell isn't dead in a cell, which is a good thing, because Epstein being dead is a bad thing. We really wish that guy was still alive.
Listen to me though.
And
they're meeting with her after she's already criminally convicted to only get to get her to say Trump didn't do anything wrong. That's corruption. Okay. Of course she's gonna lie.
If I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't say that the woman's not a snake. For sure. I mean, obviously, to get to where she is, she has to be a giant piece of shit. So say whatever she wants to save her own skin. I completely agree with that. But I think that there's some more convincing evidence, not Ghislaine's testimony, but what was that woman's name? Who you had brought up the email where it mentioned that he was in the
Virginia
room with her
Guffrey,
for a couple of hours.
Virginia Guffrey.
Yes, and she had passed away, unfortunately. I think this year. I think it was this year or last year in July. One of those two times when she had testified, and she had made the statement that Donald Trump didn't do anything to her.
I'm not saying he did, though.
And no, but what I'm pointing to is back to, unfortunately, what made the headlines was terrible information. All the reporting that ended up coming out about these emails that were released specifically mentioning Donald Trump were lackluster. And that's my point. It's like the stuff is lacking in information. Regina openly said that Trump didn't do anything, and yet they still used her email, still used an email about her and her interaction with Trump.
But that's
as
not
proof
why.
That Trump might have done something.
No, that's not why that
If
email's
the
in
email
there.
was released,
Do you know why the email's in
her
there?
name
But they didn't. It didn't state that he abused her in that email. It said he was in the.
There was an implication.
No, it
Yes,
said
there was an implication.
No,
yes,
it's in the.
because
Okay.
it referred to her as a victim.
Yes, she's
Correct?
a victim of Epstein's.
Yeah.
It says.
Correct.
That's not
Yes,
what the
correct.
email says.
But
hold on, excuse me. You're what you're saying is not true now. You're wrong. She was in the presence of.
No.
The reason that's significant is it contradicts the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't you understand? It proves
fine.
a contradiction. There's nowhere in the email does it say he abused her. The point is he's in the presence of a victim. Maybe it shows that he knew about the abuse was ongoing. It doesn't specify anything.
Well, he did know about the abuse.
Right. So
Donald
why
Trump
are you
did know
still
about
supporting him then?
Because, if I'm not mistaken, there was a criminal case brought upon Jeffrey Epstein. Unfortunately, a lot of the charges were dropped. If I'm not mistaken, 10, 15 years ago, there was a case. No, I think it was 2019.
Can you
I
just
can't quite
stop
remember
rambling,
which day.
please, and
This-
make your
this fucking
point?
guy-
I'm getting tired of it.
I'm not trying to ramble. I'm not.
You
trying to
are
ramble.
rambling,
I'm
though.
trying to get my thoughts. I'm not rambling. I'm saying
You're
we're staying pretty on
mischaracterizing
topic
things. I just had to correct you
And-
there. That was incorrect what you said before.
And Regina, no, because it was intentionally released that Donald Trump was in a room with a victim, quote, a victim.
Right. Because he
not
said he was never at
physically calling her
Epstein's
out,
house and didn't have a
and
private
in a grand
relationship.
jury, and in a grand jury.
Oh, my God.
And in a grand jury, that
That's
same
not
woman said
why.
that he didn't do anything.
Well, the
to her.
email
So
doesn't
it's really
say he
important to
did.
look at
The
that
email doesn't say he did. So your
Doesn't
point
matter.
is
It's
null
the
and void.
implication.
There was
It's
no
the it's not
implication.
null and void.
Trump
There's an
claims,
implication
dude,
brought to
guy.
the
Trump claims he was never in a private setting with him. Public and social settings. Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony claims the same thing. That email contradicts that testimony.
That's not true, though.
Yes, it
That's not
does.
true, though. There's clearly no. There's clearly video and photo evidence of him being in the same room as Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes, not in the same
there's
room.
videos from like the
All right,
90s.
have a good day, dude. You're not listening to what I said. I didn't say in the same room. I said in a public or social setting. Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony, she's not witnessed Trump in a private setting. Only public and social settings. In his house with a victim is a private setting. Holy fuck, it's like talking to a... I swear to God, like they just like to ramble and like, hold on. And so that actually... No, you're wrong. That's not what the fucking email says. You're wrong. That's not what it says. It doesn't say that at all. It contradicts her testimony, and it claims he was potentially aware of it because he was in the presence of. He's just repeating things that he heard. I don't think he read the emails. Listen, if Trump knew about it and you still support him, you're weird. Can I be any more clear? If you still support Trump and you think he knew about it, you're weird. There's no way around this. You can't. How can you simultaneously admit that Trump knew about it and say you still support him? What planet are we on, people? Wake up. R. Hughes says, Adam, you're mean. Yeah, I'm definitely mean to people defending pedophilia, R. Hughes. And I know you're a Republican because you're spelling your wrong. So that's how I know you're a Republican. But yes, if you want me to be more polite to pedophiles, you probably should go find a different channel, R. Hughes. Clown. I love when people are like, yes, be more kind to people defending sexual assault. Yes, Adam, be more kind to them, Adam. Be more kind to people defending sexual assault. What a creep. You can always tell who needs their fucking hard drive checked in here. Did you ever notice that? You can always tell who needs a good hard drive check. Like that person up there, what's their name? R whatever. R Hughes, you need your hard drive checked, guy. You need your hard drive checked, like quickly. Cedric, yeah, you're wrong. No, you're not. Well, learn to spell your. If you're a liberal, you're still a pedophile defender, okay? Shut up. Don't tell me to be more polite to people defending sexual assault, you creep. God, they fucking... It's sickening. It really is. It is fucking sickening. You're cozy to Glenn's testimony? You mean Ghislaine's testimony? I've been calling out her testimony as lies this entire time. Adam, why'd you crash out on Virginia Giuffre's name being brought up? I didn't. You're mischaracterizing it. You're trying to say the email says he abused Virginia Giuffre. It doesn't say that. And you're using the fact that Virginia Giuffre said he didn't as a contradiction to prove the emails are fake. That's disingenuous. So I'm correcting you in saying that's not what it says. But the importance is that Trump was in the presence of, which contradicts the testimony of Ghislaine Maxwell. You don't like being called out when you're trying to defend sexual assault. And that's what you're doing when you say Trump knew about it and didn't do anything. When you say that, and by the way, let me be clear for Trump supporters in here too. I'm just going to check you all on one thing really quick. Since you guys want to make this about party politics. Donald Trump said himself that he gave Jeffrey Epstein a warning. Jeffrey Epstein a warning. Who gives someone you think's engaging in that type of behavior a warning? Don't you ban them immediately? Anyone who engages in that type of behavior and then frequents your establishment, you cut off immediately. You ban immediately. That's what you do. Oh, 100%, Danielle. I talk about this all the time. Listen, Trump supporters are aware of the fact. Hey, let me watch this, guys. Watch this, everybody. Watch this. Watch Trump. You guys want to watch Trump supporters squirm? Do you guys remember when Trump told a 10-year-old girl, I'll be dating her in 10 years? Have you guys ever seen that? Check this out, everybody. Take a listen. Take a listen to this, everyone. Take a quick listen. You guys want to watch Trump supporters squirm? Have you ever seen a Trump supporter squirm? Take a listen.
Okay, you start and I'm ready.
In the wake of questions and allegations about Donald Trump's behavior towards women, ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it? Okay.
Take a listen to that again.
CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it? Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
You guys want to watch Trump supporters squirm some more? You want to watch them squirm some more? Look at the Trump supporter in chat who said based. Did you see the Trump supporter in chat who said based, everybody? There's a Trump supporter in chat who said based. Did you hear him?
And she used to be very. She's still very beautiful. I moved on her actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
It's huge news, Sarah.
No, Nancy. Yeah. No, this was marriages, and I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, "I'll show you where they have some nice furniture." I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there, and she was married. Then all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything.
Guys, look at this post I just pinned. This Trump supporter in chat said, "Oh no, he's going to date her when she's of age." Look at this, people. This the part of the club you want to belong to? Oh no, he's going to date her when she's of age. You would support someone, a grown man, saying that to your 10-year-old daughter? Not surprised.
That she's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as shit.
Attracted to beautiful.
It's her.
Yeah, that's her with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
Look at those legs. All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, shorty.
Oh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
Anything else? I mean, I can keep going. Shall I? Because I can. These are the people arguing with me that are condoning saying that to a 10-year-old. I don't know. I'm not saying to a 10-year-old. I'm not letting someone say that to a 10-year-old in my presence. The fact that you are is disturbing. What happened, Trump supporters? Not loud anymore? Nothing else to say? You got awfully quiet. Where'd you go? Let's not fucking pretend like I don't have a ton of information to conclude he's a creep. You're calling saying that to a 10-year-old girl locker room talk? Tom, you wouldn't knock anyone out, okay? I just clicked on your channel. Just clicked on your profile. You're not knocking anyone out. You're a wannabe Call of Duty streamer. Stop talking about violence. We don't condone violence, okay? Stick to streaming Call of Duty. All right, everybody, I've had enough of these Trump supporters for right now. Maybe we'll come on later. Justin Thomas. Someone take a screenshot of Justin Thompson here. Take a screenshot of that statement. That needs to be, like, locked in the history books right there. Seriously, doesn't it? It really does. That needs to be locked in the history books. The emails are damning because they, for a number of reasons, but they're not the nail in the coffin. What they do is they prove that we need transparency here. Why don't you guys want the truth? You guys don't want the truth all of a sudden? I thought you guys wanted the truth. Now you don't want the truth? Cedric, you spelled "you're" wrong, okay? And you're damn right I'm an angry young man. You're damn right. I'm pissed. You're damn right, Cedric. And if you're not mad right now, then I don't know maybe you're not paying attention. But you're damn right I'm mad. All right, everybody. I don't care if it exposed Democrats. Good. Expose them all. Put them all in prison for the love of God. Put them all in prison. Period. Put them all in prison. Lock them up forever. Don't give a shit. Lock them all up. You think this is about party politics? Well, then you're not paying attention. You are not paying attention. All right, everybody. Been on here for 2 hours, over 2 hours. I might be back on later. We'll see. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. What's wrong with being bi-curious? What's wrong with being bi, Eric? It's 2025. Stop shaming people for their sexuality. Who cares if someone is bi in 2025? It's 2025. Don't shame people for that kind of stuff. That's gross, dude. Grow up. Kevin says your content is trash. Meanwhile, Kevin is in here right now watching my content. Oh, God. They trip over their own feet, don't they? They trip over their own feet. I love you guys. Thank you for everybody who sent super chats. Thank you for all the support. Appreciate you guys. If you'd like to support further, you can in the link tree in my bio. I might go live on TikTok later. I don't know if I'll be over here later. I don't know where I'll be. Tomorrow morning we'll be on TikTok again. If you're not following me on TikTok, follow me at Adam Cray on TikTok. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it, everybody. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, everybody. Make sure you hit the bell, too. Take care, everybody. Be well. Hold on, wait. John says, guys, this is good right before we go. Look. Dude, that Luaf. Dude, that Luaf was cringe AF. Dude, that Luaf. Oh, my God. It's just too fucking funny, man. I love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourselves, your mental health. Make sure you do something other than politics. Watch a good movie with the family tonight. Christmas is fast approaching. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. The winter bells are ringing. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Come on, guys. Get in the mood. Get in the mood, you know? It's 90s Christmas. Watch Home Alone tonight or something like that. You'll get in a little bit of a Christmas spirit. You know what I mean? I wear it outside all the time, John. I just clicked your profile. You would do absolutely nothing. Dude, you would do nothing. You have a Super MAGA shirt on. Stop it, dude. Super MAGA. What is that? What is Super MAGA, dude? Dude, Super MAGA? Come on, bro. Come on, man. Yes, they passed the vote. If you guys are, if you didn't know, they did pass the Epstein Transparency Act. Thank God. And we'll see. Let's see. Probably this coming week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody. Take care. Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Be well.